Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and today I'm coming to you with an unboxing, and actually an unboxing of a gift from one of my local subscribers. He's an FFL and SOT, really cool guy. Me and my wife have gone to dinner with him and his wife. A real pleasure to get to know, and I hope to do more content with his amazing collection of firearms in the future. But he knows that I love everything firearms and firearms accessories, and I like to be a collector, specifically when it comes to neat or different odds and ends. He recently saw me get the Glock entrenching tool from another subscriber, and he was even the one that got me the Glock field knife. Well, he called me up a couple days ago and said, guess what? I got you something else made by Glock, but it's not a gun. I was like, well, what could it be? And I was kind of racking my brain. I know they made the knife, the entrenching tool, blah, blah, blah. He got me the TacLite GTL 10. Now, I had heard about these a long time ago, and to be honest with you, I wasn't even sure they still made these. So this is a tactical light for Glocks made by Glock. These are a little bit older technology, so it uses, I believe, a Xenon bulb instead of the LED technology that we have now. People have complained that it doesn't put out as much light. As I said, it uses older technology, but it is made by Glock and it is current production. So why they haven't upgraded, I have no idea. They also offer these as laser light combos and other ones that fit a variety of different guns and have different styles, but I believe this one is the original, and that is really neat to have. It has a little black box here. It looks kind of like a small gun box, but we're going to open this up on camera, and I am going to install it on my Glock 21C, and we're going to see how that looks. And I'm also going to try to compare it to my Surefire X300 Ultra. Now, I have no illusions that this thing is going to be any better than the Surefire. I think we all know the Surefire is probably the better light, but I just wanted to kind of compare and contrast. So this is actually a relatively affordable light, but what's really neat about it is that it is made by Glock. Now, I know some people are going to tell me, well, why buy this when you have Surefires and Streamlights and so forth with the latest and greatest things? Well, as a collector, I think it's really neat because you guys know I have an extensive Glock collection, but also when it comes to gun accessories, for example, like the Mark 23's LAM, those are actually very valuable today, even though they were made in the 1990s and used very old technology for both the laser and the light. So who knows if Glock discontinues these things? It could be a relic from the past, and in the future, people go, if you gotta have a complete Glock collection, you gotta have one of these. But that's not the way they are right now, but they're pretty affordable. But let's get this on the table, let's get it unboxed, let's check it out, and let's get it installed, and then compare it to the Surefire. Alright, so before we unbox this, I hope you guys enjoyed the fact of the perfect timing I had when my phone received a text message just as I was filming that last segment there. That is just the joy of YouTube, and I'm not going to re-record it, so you guys have to put up with that. Alright, so I got the Glock GTL 10 here on the bench. There's not much to say about the front, just comes in the standard Glock kind of accessory packaging. On the back, it doesn't really say anything about it. It just has the same thing you get on all of the accessories about the history of Glock. So let's just go ahead and open this, and let's see what is inside and how it's packaged. Alright. Alright, so here is the little box. This is Glock GTL 10. There you go. Let's open this thing up, and there it is. It actually comes with two batteries. I believe these are CR123 batteries. It looks like it has maybe a replacement light. It does. Oh, well, the whole thing comes out here. That's pretty cool. It has a little instruction manual, too. Well, this is packaged really, really nice. Let's take a look here at the light, of course. Seems to be well constructed. It's extremely light without the batteries in it. One of the things I do like about it as compared to the Streamlights is the fact that the bezel does not stick very far out. That's always been kind of like one of my complaints with the Surefires, is especially if you have one that is in a color like the tan. After firing, the top of these get really marked up and kind of burnt up with the carbon fouling and the scorching on top. But if you had the bezel shorter, I know that it wouldn't have that issue. I know that's a kind of a silly thing, and these guns are meant to be run and had fun with, but it's one of those things where I like to take care of my stuff, and these bezels kind of stick out a little bit far. But I can see where this is not going to do that as much. So who knows? We'll try it on the 21 and see what it looks like. But that's kind of my first initial thoughts there. But right now it looks pretty nice. Seems to be well built. As I said, very, very light. There is a bulb installed and they give you an extra one. As I mentioned, this is the older technology. Looks like it has a couple of activator switches. I guess that's on and off. It's ambi controlled and is designed to go around the trigger guard. All right, so let's go ahead and install these batteries. All right, I guess you pull this back. I guess this pops up. There it is. And it says on the side how the batteries are supposed to go. So it looks like the bottom battery faces rearward. All right, got the bottom battery in, and now the top battery. All right, so there's that. Let's put the cover back on. It seems to just snap in. Okay, and let's turn the light on, and it works. It is definitely not super bright. There is not an adjustment on this. It just comes in one setting. I do know one that has a dimmer switch. I believe it says that this is supposed to be 70 lumens as compared to, I believe, the 300 or 400 lumens of the Surefire. So that is not even on the same level of brightness. And that can be evident just by looking at those two. But it is what it is. So let's attach this to the Glock 21 here. And it looks like it goes on by pulling down these two tabs and then sliding over the accessory rail. So put on the accessory rail, slide that down, and it locks right into place. So there you go. So that's what it looks like. It is definitely on there tight. Interesting look. And it is really cool how it is truly designed for Glocks by Glock. So I believe you should be able to reach at it with your trigger finger, turn on the tactical light, turn it off, and it is ambi controlled. I got to say, just handling it right now, I really like the design, and I actually like the look of it. Might be a little bit bulky here to hold those two batteries, but it is what it is. It is slimmer than the Surefire, and I do like how the bezel does not protrude out further than the barrel. But obviously, I wish this thing had much better illumination and was brighter. But let's turn off the lights here in the garage and let's compare it to the Surefire, and let's see if it's practical, even though, as I mentioned, it's older technology. All right, so one thing before I turn the lights off and compared it to the Surefire, I just noticed is that you can adjust the lens and focus the light. So when I first turned this on after installing it and just kind of testing it out here in the garage, this thing had a really awkward and weird hotspot, and I'll kind of show you here. So as you can see, it had this weird shape in the center. It kind of looks like maybe a mushroom if I turn it that way. And I thought that would be a really weird hotspot to have. And I looked at the instructions. You can adjust the focus of that end cap, and you can actually adjust it to how you want that hotspot to look. When you take it all the way out, that is how you change the bulb, but you have kind of an adjustment before you get to that point. So I kind of wanted to show that here and wait for the camera to adjust, and that's just by adjusting the knob here in the front, or the adjustment here on the bezel. So that's just kind of an interesting feature that I wanted to put on camera and talk about before I compared it to the Surefire. Alright, so here we are in the dark garage. I'm first going to use the Glock 21 with the GTL 10 and kind of show you how bright it is. So there it is. It is not super bright, but I would say in extremely dark situations, this would be adequate enough. Definitely if you're looking for a light, probably just for your home. This would not be bright enough, I think, for a modern SWAT team or military, but I think for civilian use, this thing would be absolutely adequate. I've adjusted the hotspot as I showed in the previous kind of segment there, where I adjusted the bezel, so I have a very small and centered hotspot. It's very nice. It's directly centered where my sights are, so the direction of it is fine. It lights up the whole garage, which of course is completely blacked out right now, so it's plenty of light. I would feel comfortable having this on my gun. So now I'm going to take the GTL off here, and I'm going to switch guns, and now I'm going to show you what the Surefire X300 looks like. And this is completely different once the camera focuses there. This is a much bigger, brighter hotspot, and this is just going to show how far weapons light technology has come over the years. Now, if you're looking probably for the highest end, the greatest light you can, go Surefire, go some other company. But it's just neat to have that other light made by Glock for Glock. And I'm just really surprised that they have not changed and upgraded the technology. And of course there is the Glock light. So it's a huge difference. It's a night and day difference, pun intended. So it's adequate, I think, for a dark apartment or home, but for a SWAT team, might not be what you're wanting. I definitely think you'd want to go with the Surefire. All right, so let me get this back on the table, adjust the camera, and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so actually handling this thing, using it here in the garage, what do I think? I actually think the styling of this light is pretty cool. It's really neat that this thing is an original Glock light. It's made by Glock. It's not like it's some aftermarket light. Performance-wise, there's a lot to be desired. We've really gotten spoiled by the modern flashlight companies, and even the ones that we look at as being budget, the ones that are made overseas that some people make kind of foo-foo and make fun of, they all perform better than this, using an old Xenon bulb. I'm very surprised that Glock doesn't look at this market and go, you know, we already have the housing, we already got the molds to make them. All we got to do is upgrade the technology, the electronics inside. We would have a very competitive light that we could market with our own pistols that has our own branding on it and make even more money. I'm really surprised they haven't done that and they're still turning these out. So I'm probably going to keep it here on the Glock 21 just to have it on a gun. It is really neat to have another product made by Glock. As I said, I have the entrenching tool, I have the field knife, and now I have one of their lights. Glock makes a whole bunch of products besides pistols that people don't even know about. So how would I rank this kind of on my little star system? I'm only going to give this thing 2 out of 5 stars. I mean, when it comes to modern performance compared to something like the Surefire, it doesn't even compare. They're not even on the same plane of existence. But it does work, and probably when these first came out before the LED technology, they were probably pretty good. That fits the gun great. I'm not going to complain about the fit, finish, or build quality. It seems to be all there. It just only has 70 lumens and uses a Xenon bulb. The switch is easy to get to. It's intuitive. I like how you can adjust the beam with the bezel on the front, but still, compared to a Surefire and what we've come to know and expect from modern weapons-mounted lights, it doesn't compare. 2 out of 5 stars, but from a collector standpoint, it is cool as heck. And I am so glad to have one of these things in my collection. So it's only going to add and enhance what I already own. So thank you, Tony. I appreciate the awesome gift. I am humbled that you would give this to me, especially knowing how much I like these little Glock products. It's just cool to have. And it's something that I'm going to keep on this gun and show people when I show off the Glock collection, because you got to collect everything that they make, right? So there you go. So the Glock GTL 10 weapons mounted light, old tech, but kind of cool. Who knows, maybe one day, 25 years from now, after they discontinue these, there's going to be some type of nostalgic revival of them, and they could be worth a lot of money, just like the old LAMs, as I mentioned, from Insight Technologies for the Mark 23 were. They'll probably not be that sought after, but you never know, because the things you think that are going to be collectible now usually aren't. It's always the stuff you never expect. So who knows? This could be one of them. But anyway, it just enhances and completes my Glock collection. So there you go. The Glock GTL 10 unboxing weapons mounted light. They still make them. You can still buy them from a number of online stores. So if this is something that interests you and you're just like kind of a hardcore Glock collector, maybe you got to pick up one. So there you go. So do you guys have any of the Glock's weapon-mounted lights, even the ones with the lasers? That's a kind of a combo. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching. and then compare it to the Surefire. You gotta be kidding me.